life with the man that loves and cherishes you so well, and all of a sudden the man is no longer in your life, is something that can be really, really overwhelming and sad. Yeah, it's still hard for me to believe it, but I think I have to accept my fate. Guys, I'm mourning. I missed or I lost two very important persons in my life, people that have grown to be with all the days of my lives. Um, and all of a sudden, they are no longer here with me. This year, I lost two important persons in my life within the space of a month and 8 days. I lost the two of them. These are people that have always prayed for me, people that have always believed in me, people I can talk to whenever I feel like talking to someone. And the truth is that I'm mourning, we are mourning. I and my siblings, we are mourning, my mom is mourning. I lost my grandma that happens to be my mother's mom, and I lost my dad. So painful that one of the biggest fears I used to have in life has finally happened. You know, I tell people that sometimes I feel that abroad somehow happens to be like a curse in disguise. Why do I always use the word a curse in disguise? A curse in disguise in the sense that you'll be somewhere you are and you can't be close to your loved ones. If there's anything I love and appreciate a lot, it is family. I love and appreciate family a lot, and not being with my family is one of the things that saddens my heart. And losing my grandma and my dad at the same period of time is the worst experience I think I have ever experienced. You know, there are things that you know that you are trusting and hoping that someday things will be okay. Someone will be like, okay, but you've experienced TTC for 5 years. Yes, I experienced TTC for 5 years, but I had hope that someday something like this, like having my own child, will come to fulfillment. But losing my dad, like my dad and my grandma, I and my grandma, we are like this, I and my dad, we are like this, and losing the both of them, it was still hard for me to accept that my grandma was late. And I even spoke about it with my dad. My dad was like, this one that your grandma has died. That night he was just like, some time he was sick, not like sick, until the sad happened. Excuse me. So my dad was like, this one, your grandma died. I just pray that God should give me more 15 years. That was my dad's word to me. I was like, yeah, God will do it. Not knowing that from the day my grandma died, that my dad just had a month and 8 days. My grandma died July 22nd, while my dad died August 30th. I have so many things to tell my dad. I have so many things to discuss with him, and he's not there for me to speak with him. I've been like for some months now, it's getting to months now. Like, yes, it's getting to almost 3 months, and I have not seen my daddy's call. My dad is someone that if he stays without hearing from me and he tells my siblings to call me and he doesn't hear from me, he will just call me direct call. Like my siblings would call me WhatsApp call and they're not calling me. My dad will recharge and call me direct call. And I'll just be like, Daddy, what is it? He'll be like, I just want to hear from you, so that we can discuss, chit chat and all that. So, but missing my dad, losing my dad is one difficult thing. And my grandma is a sweet soul, very sweet soul. And the reason why it's paining me so much, and the worst aspect of it is that, let me start from my grandma. My grandma has been praying for me. If you watch some of my shots, you see my grandma praying for me, telling me, I could remember my grandma telling me I shouldn't be scared, that I will definitely have my own kids someday. And Thank God she heard that I was pregnant and I gave birth, and I called her via video call. Thank God I told my sister one day. My sister traveled, called on video call. My grandma saw my baby and she was happy. Thank God she saw my baby. But before my grandma died, my grandma kept saying I should bring my baby to her. That I should bring my baby to her. My grandma kept saying I should bring my baby to her, which I promised her that I was going to bring her at the end of the year. And my grandma was like, end of the year is too far. Even according to my mom, 2 weeks before my grandma entered coma, my grandma asked my mom about me and that I don't want to bring the grandchild to the great grandchild to her. And my mom told her that I was going to bring baby by December, by the end of the year. My grandma was like, December, child, like December is too far. Not knowing that my grandma was going to die, I was so hopeful and trusting God that I was going to do 4 generation, because I've always prayed. Each time I pray, I tell God, please let my grandma not die, so that I will give birth, bring my baby to my grandma, so I will snap picture like 4 generation pictures, like me, my daughter, my mom, and my grandma snapping 4 generation picture. But unfortunately, I have the baby now and I don't have my grandma. My grandma left when my baby was just few months, not even up to a year. Then to my dad, I don't want to be emotional. My dad's own is so painful. My dad is someone that trusts and believes God so well. My dad kept praying for me, kept encouraging me. He gives me so many Bible portions to pray, to always acknowledge God. I should always remind God of his promises. He always encouraged me not to get scared that I was going to give birth. Finally, when I got pregnant, my dad was so happy. He thanked God and couldn't thank God enough. When it was time for me, when I was 9 months pregnant, my dad would call me. You know, when a father is talking to the daughter about labor, he was just a sweet soul. Like, he was just telling me about labor, things I should do, how I should do, when I should just be strong, I should make sure I succeed, I should make sure I push my baby out. You know, telling me all the encouragement that I needed when I gave birth. My daddy was so grateful to God. My daddy was so happy, and my daddy named my daughter Chizitere. But unfortunately, my daddy won't be able to carry my baby. The baby he named during my daddy's sick bed. I told my dad, please, daddy, please be well for me. I told my dad, sorry, this is why I've not made this video, this one. So a week, not even up to a week, that same week that my dad died, when I called, thank God I called him on that video call that particular Tuesday, that fateful Tuesday. I told my dad, daddy, when I saw him, I started crying, because my dad was now like, he was just getting slimmer and slimmer. He wasn't eating, but his heart was strong, just that the body was weak. And all these things happen because of all these stupid hospital complications, Nigeria, and this their stupid way of treating, not being careful and all that. So I called my dad that day via video call. We spoke. After crying that day, my dad cried together with me according to my siblings. So I summoned courage to like wipe my tears away, and my dad was like, Ibechala. I was like, no, and I had to cheer up, you know. I told my dad, I said, Daddy, Bakekwa, I'll get to us soon. It's not when I bring Chisidrem to you now. Why carrying Chisidrem? Your hands will be shaking and my baby will fall off, We cracked joke and we cried, joke and we laughed and everything. At the point I was like, Daddy, look at Chisidrem. There is something that my dad did that it is only now that he's late that I can understand. My dad, when I showed him my baby, I was like, Daddy, see Chi's dream. My dad was looking at my daughter. While looking at my daughter, my dad looked at my daughter for a while and took off his face. So my mom was the one that catched her. I was like, they're showing you your daughter and you're looking at her as like we didn't understand that maybe in his mind, oh, I'm not going to carry this my grandchild finally, okay? So after that day, my dad blessed me that day. He told me, I heard you've started driving, you've gotten a car. I was like, yes. And he blessed me and said, "Ya gajiere gira digi, may it be well with you and your husband." And he told me that I should take care of my husband. And he equally spoke with my husband that day. My husband told me that nothing was going to happen to him, that he will be okay. From that day, I started crying and praying to God for mercy. I asked God for grace to sustain my dad and all that. On Wednesday, I called. On Thursday morning, I woke up and very early in the morning, around 8, I wanted to take my bath. I wasn't going out, I was at home. So I went to the bathroom to bathe, and I saw the face of my dad. My dad's face flashed and I got scared, you know. I was like, why is it that I'm scared just by seeing my daddy's face? My dad used to be between my dad and my mom. My dad is my favorite. I can tell while growing up, it's just I and my dad. I can tell my dad anything and everything without hiding mouth. I can hide something from my mom, but not to my dad because my dad is so he's this present father that is always paying attentive to you. Do what my dad is the police and my daddy is the calm person, you know. My mom is the one that will fear most. So I was like, this when I saw my dad, I'm scared. And there was network problem that day, general problem. So I had to go outside, get a recharge card, and call directly. So I spoke with my dad. When I spoke with my dad on that Thursday, that fateful Thursday morning, my dad's voice was so clear and loud. Like other days, I can barely hear him. Sometimes I'll ask my siblings, what is daddy saying? But on that particular Thursday, my daddy's voice was so clear and I was so happy. And after talking, he said he was hungry, and I told my brother, okay, please go and give him food. This one that he's hungry because he hasn't been eating. And even in that hungerness, what he takes is this just soup. So when I ended the call, I remember something. I called back. My brother was like, "How far?" I said, "Yes, give daddy phone. I want to tell daddy something." I told daddy, "Daddy, do you remember your favorite songs?" And he was like, "A lady in call, which one?" I told my dad, I started singing, "Ihe niile banyere m na-emetụ Chukwu n'obi, echiche udo ọganiru ka ọ na-echere m, ọ gaghị ekwe ka echiche ndị iro mezuo, amara Chineke ọ bara ụba n'ebe m nọ." My dad loved this song. Dad loves Chineke nke igwe na-aza ekpere, Chineke nke igwe na-aza ekpere. Chineke nke igwe na-aza ekpere, Chineke nke igwe na-aza ekpere, dere ji atamukwala, Chineke nke igwe na-aza ekpere. I sang ekpere bụ ọgwụ anyị gwọrọ n'ime Chineke, ekpere bụ ọgwụ anyị gwọrọ, aga m agwọ ya ọzọ, ọ gịnị ka ị na-eche? Gị nwa Chineke, ọ gịnị ka ị na-eche? I chefuola Jesus. I sang all the songs that my dad likes. Prayer is the key, prayer is the key, prayer is the master key. Jesus started with prayer and end up with prayer. Prayer is the master key. My dad loves this song. So that I was singing it to my dad. According to my brother, when I asked my brother what my dad was doing when I was singing, my brother said my daddy was singing along with me. So after singing that song to my dad, I told my dad, "Oh yeah, no, ngwano, come happy with Kiri, we'll talk." Little did I know that was the last thing I would do on earth with my dad. that Thursday afternoon, evening, I went out with my husband. I was driving and I was having fear in me. In my mind, someone that is not yet perfect with driving. I was whenever I'm driving with my husband, I used to be scared because he'll be telling me the gear you're using is not the gear you're supposed to use. He will tell me this thing you are doing here is not what you're supposed to do and all that. So I was having fear in me, and I was thinking that it was because of I was driving. And my husband was like, "Why are you making mistakes?" At a point, my baby started crying. I have to tell my husband to come and start driving so I can focus on my baby. But I noticed that there was my legs were trembling, my legs were shaking. At the point, I told my husband that my legs are shaking. My husband was like, maybe you are scared because of your daddy's health. Don't worry, I've told you you shouldn't worry, your daddy will be fine. After the whole day, we came back. My legs were still shaking. We came back late. I was like, okay, tomorrow morning I would speak to my dad. I will speak to them and know how my dad is doing. To my greatest surprise, I woke up to the saddest and the worst news ever. That my dad was late. He died early morning around one something. And they didn't tell me. But one funny thing is that when your person wants to die, you will have that feeling. Apart from the feelings I was having that Thursday evening, on okay, in my dream, I had a terrible dream that there was flood in my house. I was trying to get a lot of things, grabbing my phone, grabbing my keys, trying to grab everything together. I noticed that the flood was taking the beds, like the leg of this one, the leg of the chair, the leg. At a point, the heavy flood came and took the family foam. That's in the bed, the main bed, the family foam. The flood took it. I was like, our family bed is no longer here. And I woke up. I looked at my time. It was 5 after 5, like 10 minutes after 5. I was like, what kind of dream is this? I've not had such dream all my life. What kind of flood taking out the family foam, like the family bed? The flood took it away. What could this be? How come I couldn't even get the family foam the way the flood took it away? I never knew that was my dad that left us. So since then, I've been fatherless. I've been fatherless. God is now my father. God is now the father of my siblings. My mother is now a widow. God is now her husband. My mother lost the mother and lost the husband at the same time. The thing that saddens me the most is that I told him I was bringing his grandchild to him, and he was like, Anomia, I'm here, nothing will happen to me. So we traveling to go and see him is going to be in death. I left him alive and I'll be seeing him dead. My daughter will be seeing my daddy for the first time as a corpse. But as well, my prayer is that may his soul rest in perfect peace. May the Lord of hosts accept his soul, and may he be in heaven, where there is no longer pains, there is no longer agony. He kept taking medication just because of minor surgery that they couldn't handle well. From it, the thing escalated. But all I have to say is, well, God is the father of the fatherless, and he will see me and my siblings and my mom through. So that is the update I just want to give you people to know that I know I posted it with a picture that I lost the two of them. Just came to make it official, in as much as I made video there that day that he died, but the thing was just going up and down. It is well with my soul. Thank you for watching.